Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an interesting topic for you guys. And the topic is the real reason ESPN and people like Stephen A. Smith may be gone sooner than you think. So that's a topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. As you know, at Dreamerspro, we try to come at things from a different angle, hence the entire, the whole reason for a fresh take. And we hopefully believe that this is a fresh take for some of you guys watching this video out there today. So we know that a lot of people seem to be having an issue with ESPN, right? And people like ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. I'm talking about sports viewers now. And obviously, on a general level, some people also have a little bit of disdain for Stephen A. Smith due to some of his comments that he's made, in the past and even recently with things that he had to say about the Japanese player Shohei Ohtani, the Nigerian teams, things that he said about various athletes, etc. We all know this. And some people, meaning fans, have wondered why or how is it possible that these guys are still on TV, number one. How is it possible that there's so many poor analysts on TV that do such a bad job in covering sports? How are they still able to get gigs and still end up on TV? For example, I heard a take just released today, a number of hours ago by ESPN, where they asked the question, who is the biggest athlete in the world today? And one of the analysts said Tom Brady, which is fine. And then Kendrick Perkins said LeBron James. And I said to myself, wait a minute, is Cristiano Ronaldo not playing? They did say the world, right? They didn't say the United States. They did say the world, right? How is it possible that a sports network cannot mention Cristiano Ronaldo, who is the most followed person on the planet, who plays the sport that is the number one most viewed sport in the world, which is a soccer, right? And then with the original football, number 2 is cricket, and number 3 is the NBA. How is it that you don't mention Cristiano Ronaldo? Shows you part of the issues, this speaks to some of the internal issues that some of these sports networks and analysts are having. They're just not doing a good enough job. So let me get a little bit further into this. Now, some people ask the question, how are these guys still able to have jobs on TV? And let me explain why this is happening. A lot of the reason you see these guys still on TV is due to something called the Nielsen TV ratings, right? It's basically a company that set up a system in which they came up with some type of system that helps TV shows or TV programs measure who's watching their shows, when they're watching their shows, and the audience demographics. Now, it's actually a very, very complicated thing to explain. So I'm just going to explain to the best that I can. But basically, it's a way of measuring who's watching TV and what households are watching them. Now, obviously, this company has devices that they put in homes. I think they have them across 46,000 homes in the United States that takes data that's sent to their computers and their systems at night, and then they process this information and they send it over to the various networks. And this is very important information because this information is worth billions. Why? Because that's the information that they use when they're coming up with the figures that they want to use to charge advertisers to run ads, against their shows. Now, I'll give you an example of some information that I got out there, something I'm going to read. I'm reading this on Wikipedia in regard to Nielsen ratings. And I just want to give you guys something quite interesting. According to Advertising Age, during the 2007-2008 season, ABC was able to charge $419,000 per commercial sold during its medical drama Grey's Anatomy, compared to only $250,000 for commercial during CBS's crime scene investigation, despite CSI having almost 5 million more viewers on average. And you say, but how's that possible? They get more views, but they're able to charge more. And the reason that is because in general, the numbers of viewers within the 18 to 49 age range are actually more important, because this is the target demographic that a lot of these TV stations are going after with their different television shows, because this is the most lucrative audience, audience group that you want to run ads against, because obviously because of their spending power. Just to kind of simplify it, that's the reason why that audience is so valuable to these guys. Now, I've given you guys sort of a rough background of exactly what's taking place as to why a lot of these shows are still on TV. As you know, talking about ESPN First Take, for example, they bring in hundreds of thousands of viewers per show, right? The show runs 5 days a week. I think for 2 hours or so, and people tune in. And due to the audience and the amount of people that are tuning in, it's generating ESPN a lot of money. So some people may ask the question, but these guys are so bad. How are they still on TV? Because a decent amount of people tune in daily from the from the golden, let's say, demographic that these advertisers are looking for, that 18 to 44, 49 range. Therefore, they're able to charge a good amount of money for those ads. Therefore, if people are tuning in, it makes it a lucrative deal. It's like, okay, we're going to keep these guys on TV because we're getting the ratings. People are tuning in, so it makes total sense. It makes total sense from a business standpoint. Now, here's where things get a little bit murky. Recently, ESPN had his sports show, the ESPs Awards, and we noticed a sharp decline in viewership. And I got this information from Outkick.com, and I want to read you guys some of the viewership numbers over the last, let's say, 5 years. In 2005, the ESPs got 7.7 million people to tune in. In 2016, it was 5.6. In 2017, it was 5.3 million people that tuned in. In 2018, it was 3.9 million. In 2019, it was 3.8, let's just say 4 million. But in 2021, it was 1.1 million people. What happened to the 3-4 million people that were watching all these years before, during the previous years? It seems as if people are actually starting to tune out. People no longer are watching ESPN the way that they used to in the past. And I believe that is a direct correlation with the people that they have on TV and the things that those people are saying. And I'm willing to say in the future, these guys are not going to be as big as they are right now. And I guarantee you the viewership numbers are actually going to continue to dwindle as time goes on. Now here's some interesting information I want to share with you guys. If you look at YouTube, right, because YouTube is the number one content creator, the number one video platform on the internet. YouTube is the number one video platform. And just to give you guys an idea of just how many people tune into YouTube every single month, just last month, according to similarweb.com, YouTube got 34 billion hits. 34 billion hits, and the average visit duration on YouTube last month was 21 and a half minutes. That is a staggering statistic. 34 billion hits, and the average viewer time is 21 and a half minutes. Now, obviously, these numbers don't they don't give the exact picture of what how long people are tuning in to watch sports shows and how much of these people are actually watching sports. So obviously, this is just a gross number. This is just a total. These are just the total visits. Now, if you look at some of the bigger YouTube accounts, right, some of the bigger YouTube channels that cover basketball, for example, you're talking about NBA.com, you're talking about Bleacher Report, you're talking about some of these highlight channels like House of Highlights. These guys are getting millions of hits per month. Millions of hits per month. People are tuning in droves to watch. And you're talking about Undisputed, all of these guys, right? I give you an example. Undisputed published a video where they did a recap on the NBA Finals. A day later, that video had 900,000 views, close to 1 million views in 24 hours. That's more views than some of these TV shows are getting on a daily basis, and they were able to get that on a video in just 24 hours. And here's the reason why I think these guys in the future may disappear. I'll give you guys an example. Let's talk about our audience here at Dreamerspro. At Dreamerspro, okay, 66% of our audience are between the ages of 18 and 44. 66%. The golden demographic, right? This is the cash cow that these advertisers are looking for. Our audience falls within that range, 66. So basically, out of every 10 people that watch our channel, 6 to 7 of them are within that age range. 92.6% of our audience are all males. They're all males, men that watch our show. And this is the advertiser group that this is the demographic that a lot of these advertisers are desperate for. These are the guys that they're going after. Now, some of you may say, well, you're just a YouTube channel, right? Well, at the end of the day, we're talking about eyeballs. If we get 800,000 viewers in a month or 1 million viewers in a month, and ESPN gets, I don't know, let's say the same, the same 800,000. 800,000 is 800,000. The only difference is advertisers are willing to spend more on people that watch TV versus people that watch on YouTube. Why that is, I have no idea. Now, our audience, for example, has also proven that they have that they have a purchasing power. For example, we have our platform that we created, Dreamerspro Max, and we have members on there that pay every month to interact with each other and chat about and chat during games, right? So we've proven not only do we have that key demographic, but also our audience has a legitimate purchasing power. And this is the exact same demographic that a lot of these big companies, these big advertising companies are going after on ESPN. So here's what I think. I think the fundamental difference between ESPN and the TV ratings and YouTube is this. These TV shows, when they're talking about ratings, they're just looking at the people that are watching the shows, what the general age range is. And this is just a sample, by the way, right? It's just a sample. 46,000 people. It's just a sample. It's not like the exact number, but I think there are about 150 million television sets in the United States, if I'm not sure last time I checked, right? But this is just a sample, right? Just a sample, the same way they conduct polls when they're during election. So this is just a sample. So they're looking at when people are tuning in, how long they're watching, and what's the demographic, what's the audience, right? What's the audience demographic that are tuning into this particular show? Then they feed that information back into their systems, in which they feed it back to these different networks, and then these networks use that information to charge advertisers. But there's one fundamental difference between that and YouTube. You see, with YouTube, right? YouTube gives you even more information. Number one, YouTube tells you how many views you get. So you can look at YouTube, you can look at a video, you can go to a channel and look at the aggregate amount of views that they're able to generate in 1 month and say, okay, well, this channel generated 6.5 million views, right? This is a measurable number, right? It's a hard number. ESPN show got 10 million views this month. This channel got 6.5 million views. Okay, great. But the fundamental difference is this. On YouTube, they have a thing called the like and dislike button and the comment section. That's information that a lot of these advertisers that are running ads on TV don't get, because a lot of these rating systems don't provide that information. So what ends up happening is this. You can have a TV show like ESPN's First Take. They can come on there for 2 hours and spew a bunch of nonsense, give a bunch of bad analysis for 2 hours. And then you can get the numbers from that show and say, okay, we got 400,000 people that watched. And a lot of the big wigs executives will say, this is great. Not knowing that a lot of the stuff that they said during that show, the majority of the people disagreed with. But because they don't have a rating system that takes into account what people actually think about these shows, they're basically flying blind. They don't know. And because they don't know, because they don't have that information, they can't give it to those advertisers. And I think a lot of these advertisers actually are being taken for a ride, because on YouTube, if somebody's good, it's very easy to find out. Look at the views. Number one, how many people actually gave a damn to watch. Number two, look at the like versus dislike ratio. It doesn't lie to you. And number three, go read the comments. The comments will tell you every single thing you need to know. And because they don't have those things on TV, these guys are unaware. It's one of the reasons why Kendrick Perkins can come out today and say that the biggest athlete in the world, according to him, is LeBron James, when Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and all of these guys are still walking the planet. And he can come out there and say that. And there's no feedback system that tells them, say, wait a minute, whoa, bro, what did you just say? All they care about is how many people watched and what age range are they watching from and what time did they watch? That's all. And this is one of the reasons these guys are losing. Because a lot of people seem to be really, really annoyed with people like Stephen A. Smith, and they're still asking, but how is this guy on TV? How is Nick Wright on TV? How does Ryan Hollins get on TV and talk about basketball and say ludicrous things like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant can't fill the shoes of LeBron James? How does he get a gig? How does Jason McIntyre? How do these guys get a gig when they're so bad? This is the reason why. And I think in the future, a lot of these independent content creators and a lot of these streaming platforms are going to be able to topple some of these guys because of their rating system. They have a much better rating system. And to be quite honest with you, the demographics that a lot of these TV networks are getting, a lot of these YouTube channels are getting it too. A lot of them. If you want to know a staggering statistic, I saw it the other day. I checked on Vlad TV. Vlad TV gets 52 million viewers a month. I'm not talking about whether you like them or not. That's totally irrelevant. I'm talking about the viewership. 52 million viewers a month. If there was a TV show that drew in that amount of people a month, that TV show would be making billions of dollars. Advertisers would be clamoring to run their ads against it. Right? So this is why I think, in my personal opinion, and I know some of my argument is fragmented here, but I hope you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. And this is the reason why I think these guys may be gone sooner than you think, because I think the advertisers are going to need to put into place, or they're going to need to start asking some better questions and say, okay, wait a minute, we're running our ads against this TV show, but the audience that we're running it against, like, are they watching it because they don't have any other options, or like, are they actually being receptive to our ads or not? Right? Because I think all they care about is they're the eyeballs, run the ads against them. But if you look at the reality and you go and look at some of these shows and you look at their ratings and somebody said, but it's a little bit different. No, it's actually the same. Because what they do is, if you look at ESPN, if you look at Undisputed, sometimes they take entire segments and post it on YouTube. When they post it on YouTube, there's the rating system, the likes versus dislikes, and then the comment section. A lot of people don't know. One of the things that made Facebook blow up is the function of the like button. The like and dislike button, it just made that thing shoot through the roof because it brought in a whole new level of engagement. Another one was the tag button. Once they were able to start tagging different people, they were like, whoa, right? So these things provide a measurement of what people think. And if you go out there and you watch some of these videos and you listen to some of the things that people are saying, and you look at the comments, people seem to be shifting. And this is my only point. So what I think is, these guys may be gone sooner than you think. And if you look at the ESPs, when you only have 1.1 million people tuning in, the year before you had 4 million. That means 3 million people tuned out. So these are my thoughts. And what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about some of the things that I laid out in this video? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, it's just Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.